Well, the loan of specific things, the comodatum, is important, but the loan of goods of another type, goods referred to as fungible, is even more important. What are fungible goods? Fungible goods are goods we handle not individually as specific entities, but rather in terms of units of quantity and quality. To help you immediately grasp and visualize the difference between a specific good, the garment, the piece of jewelry, the car or the painting, and a fungible good, let us imagine a situation in which there is a loan of a fungible good. Have we not all found ourselves in the awkward position of having run out of oil when we needed to throw a party, or fry an egg, or prepare a meal? And that is what neighbors are for. One neighbor rings another's doorbell. Ding dong! Hi, Mary. Hi, John. Listen, I'm in a bit of a bind. Can you lend me a litre of oil? And if John finds his neighbour likeable, and perhaps even wishes to know her better, he says, sure I can. Thank you. I will definitely return it to you on Monday. And then he gives her a litre of Carbonell virgin olive oil, an extra bottle he had in his pantry. And Mary thanks him again, gives him her best smile, and promises again to return it. Now, the question is she going to return that same oil to him? Needless to say, if when Mary gets home, she opens the bottle, pours the oil into a frying pan, fries potatoes and the rest of the food, and the following Monday, when the weekend is over, she goes back to the neighbour with a frying pan full of rancid oil and says, I'm returning your oil to you. The neighbour will most likely throw it at her. Obviously, what Mary will do is to go to the supermarket, buy a bottle of oil of the same quantity and quality, a litre of Carbonell virgin olive oil or similar, and return to John, in perfect condition, the equivalent in quantity and quality. Note that a loan has also occurred here, a loan for use, but it pertains to a quantity and a quality, which in Latin is called the tantundum. The tantundum is the equivalent in quantity and quality to what was received. We act in this way in this type of loan, since what is lent is a fungible good. And I repeat, unlike specific items, fungible goods are goods for which others of the same sort may be substituted. And we treat fungible goods in terms of quantity, weight, measure and quality. We can all identify the difference between a specific thing, like a car, and a fungible good, like a litre of oil, or 100 pounds of wheat. The good which is fungible, by its very nature, is money. From now on, we will define money as any commonly and generally accepted medium of exchange. Money is the result of a long, historical, evolutionary process. Money is an economic institution which emerged spontaneously in the market process as a result of the interaction of thousands and thousands of human beings throughout very lengthy periods of time. Money emerged because at a certain point in history, those in the vanguard of human creativity and entrepreneurship, embodied in real people with names and faces, though today we do not know exactly who they were, discovered that they better achieved their goals if, in exchange for what they had, they asked not for something they needed to consume, but rather for something they realized was a more frequent object of exchange in the market. They started to demand a certain good with the intention of using it as a medium of exchange in the future. When this began to occur, the difficulties involved in bartering or direct exchanges, basically the double coincidence of wants, finding someone who has what you need and vice versa, started to be overcome. For even if you do not need the good in question, you know that if you ask for it in exchange for what you offer, it will be much easier for you to acquire what you need in the future. As more human beings copied this successful action strategy and it became prevalent, the good which had emerged increasingly took on the nature of a medium of exchange until its use had become widespread and it became money. This holds true regardless of the specific good historically used. In ancient Egypt, grains of wheat were used. In Mesopotamian Asia, head of cattle. In Phoenicia, pieces of metal. In pre-Columbian America, cocoa beans. The indigenous peoples of the American Great Plains used mollusk shells. We have all seen westerns in which the chief of the Indian tribe, whether Sioux, Comanche, Apache, etc., is wearing a sort of coat of mail made of mollusk shells. It's as if he appeared covered with gold coins, because the shells were viewed as money. And ultimately, throughout history, the good most typically chosen as money had been gold. Until very recently in history, when the authorities expropriated it from us and replaced it with a purely fiduciary monetary system, paper currency and deposits. We're going to talk about this throughout the course, because it has exerted devastating, catastrophic effects on the market economy. Well, money is the quintessential fungible good. Let's say Marjorie is facing financial difficulties in getting home, and she asks me to lend her 10 euros. And since I'm a good guy, I lend them to her. It's so I can pay for a taxi to get home. I'm really stressed out. I'll pay you back at the next class. That is the contract. And then I give you 10 euros. Okay? Good. Given that money is fungible, when she returns the 10 euros to me at Thursday's class, will I demand that she give back to me this very bill? What a loan that would have been. If I lend her the 10 euro bill because she left her money at home and has to get back today somehow, clearly I am lending it to her for her to use or consume. The same was true when Mary was in a predicament and asked her neighbour for oil. The neighbour knew beforehand that he was giving it to her for her to consume. In other words, he knew she would use the litre of oil, get it dirty, and eventually throw it out. And logically, Marjorie is going to spend the 10 euros. Thursday, when she must honour the agreement that we have made, that is, she will pay me back when the term of the loan ends, she will have to return to me the equivalent in quantity and quality to the 10 euro bill I have given her, but not that very bill, which will have disappeared. It will have been consumed. So, that shows that money is a fungible good. And I will be happy if she gives me 10 1 euro coins, or 5 2 euro coins, or 2 5 euro bills. She might even say, "Professor, do you have change? Here, I'll give you 20 euros and you give me 10. And I will have been paid back. But in no case will she return to me the specific thing I have given her, this same bill, with exactly these numbers. She will not return it to me because it is a fungible good. And she will have used it. She will have spent it. Money is the quintessential fungible good. Everyone negotiates with it. Everyone calculates in terms of monetary units. So many euros, so many cents. But not in terms of the specific, concrete units that represent them. Well, the loan of a fungible good, like oil or wheat or money, and not of a specific thing, is called a mutuum, from Latin. Therefore, a mutuum is a loan in which one person, the lender, hands over to another, the borrower or mutuary, a certain quantity of fungible goods. The borrower may use them and is obliged at the end of a specified term to return an equal quantity of goods of the same type and quality, which we call the tantundum, but he or she is not required to return the specific items lent.
Prestadas.